plan to start pumping oil at their mega field in Iraq in 16 weeks' time. An enormous amount still needs to be done. The export pipeline needs to cross the Euphrates.
This is absolutely not safe.
Enough wells need to be finished to produce 120,000 barrels per day. Every facility on the oil field needs to be tested, and oil needs to be brought onto the central processing facility for the first time. But a perfect storm of strikes, religious upheaval, and engineering disasters threaten to derail the entire project. Hidden deep below Iraq is one of the world's largest remaining onshore oil fields, West Kerner 2. One Russian oil man has dreamt about developing this field for 20 years.
Я впервые побывал в Ираке, это в 1989 году, когда был заместителем министра. Конечно, я никогда не мог забыть тот масштаб запасов нефти, который находился в Ираке, и материалы, по которым были в компании «Лукойл».
Extracting this oil is the greatest challenge ever faced by oil field workers. They battle extreme weather, searing heat, howling winds, and flash floods. They operate in a region where intimidation, violence, and terrorism are a constant threat. But the greatest challenge of all is time. They have to lay hundreds of kilometers of pipelines, build a processing facility, tank farm and power station, and drill 23 wells, all within a construction window of 14 months.
И это была такая гонка со временем. Это как быстрые шахматы.
By the end of March, Lukoil need to complete a central processing facility that will remove impurities from the oil, a gas turbine power plant to provide electricity for the entire project, a 103-kilometer-long export pipeline, a tank farm to hold the oil. Drilling clusters need to be built, 23 oil wells drilled, and infrastructure constructed to pump the oil to the central processing facility. From November to January, Lukoil struggled to get their export pipeline under the 1.2-kilometer-wide Third River. However, while the pipeline team were busy completing the crossing, sectarian tensions across the region boiled over and threatened the entire project. It's the 4th of November 2013, and there's 145 days to first oil. A nationwide religious festival marked by a day of fasting and pilgrimages to the holy city of Kabbala are underway.
Most of those people are coming from Basra, and now they spent 3 days walking from Basra till here. And afterwards they will walk also at least 10 days to arrive to Karbala. It's about 560 kilometers. This event is not affecting the oil operations. Those people are not harmful. They are very peaceful people.
With religious and sectarian tensions higher than at any time since the end of the Gulf War, all non-essential travel outside the concession area is prohibited. Nevertheless, heightened emotions spill onto the oil field. A security guard working for Lukoil's main drilling contractor, Baker Hughes, is pulled from his vehicle by an enraged mob of local Iraqis who beat him with shoes, iron bars, and a whip. The guard survives, but is badly injured. That night, a mob attacks the Baker Hughes accommodation camp, where many Lukoil employees are based.
По протяжении, может быть, 20-30 минут нахождения в столовой мы опять услышали сильные такие крики на улице. И после этого я вот сам лично видел, что разбили окошко, и в окошко пытался залезть человек какой-то. То есть охрана среагировала моментально, они взяли столы, столами начали баррикадировать эти окна.
Baker Hughes stunned Lukoil by deciding to pull out of Iraq completely. 600 employees of Baker Hughes and another US oil field service company called Schlumberger are moved out of the country. Drilling on oil fields across southern Iraq comes to an immediate halt.
The most important thing for our project is to keep this well safe. I mean safe for assets, for people, for environment, okay, and to be sure the well is controlled, all the well is controlled.
If the solution is not found fast, this stoppage will prove disastrous. Lukoil won't have the 23 completed wells required for first oil. It's 7 days since Baker Hughes left Iraq. The drilling clusters remain at a standstill. A delegation led by the Director General of the Southern Oil Company arrives at the pilot camp. Iskander Nazirov requests an increase in the number of troops protecting the oil field.
Однако в этом письме господин президент высказал требование в течение 2 дней обеспечить увеличение. Он сделал заявление, что мы будем вынуждены рассмотреть вопрос о выводе персонала, если этого не случится.
The suggestion of the possibility of Lukoil leaving Iraq stuns the Director General.
الوزير يؤكد بأننا سنحاول وسنقوم بزيادة القوى الأمنية في جميع الحقول وليس في الرميلة أو الزبير أو غرب القرنة فقط. ولكن مبدأ التهديد من شريك استراتيجي نسعى إلى أن نوسع مشاركته معنا بهذا الشكل موضوع مستغرب من معالي الوزير ومن الحكومة وغير متوقع. ما قلته الآن كلفني به أن أنقله إليك شفوياً وقد كتبه برسالة تحريرية هذا الصباح إلى السيد كوزاي.
The general defuses the tension by stating the government will provide more troops.
الشركات وتفاعل وضع قيادة العمليات خلال هذه يعني اليوم باكر حتما يعني اوعدنا بالتعزيز واحنا صراحه نخلي اجراء سريع ما عندنا كشرطه نفض في تعزيز ب10 دوريات وشرطه ملاك دائم محراس ونسحب من باقي الافواج لتعزيز وضع الشركه.
With increased troops promised, the hope now is Baker Hughes will return to Iraq. Over the past 27 months, 150 locals have been relocated because they were situated too close to potentially dangerous oil facilities. Lukoil and the Southern Oil Company have ensured the new villages remain within the traditional marshlands and that each farmer receives compensation.
It's totally different from the old village. The old village were built only with the mud. It was not good for living. But now these houses, as you see, they are very nice houses. All of them are built with the bricks and with concrete ceiling. When the oil companies want to use their land for oil activities, the Iraqi government paid them a lot of compensation. Most of them, especially the young guys, they are now working in the companies. Some of them in the OPF as oil police in the company. Some of them in the security companies as a security guard. Other people are working as normal workers. In fact, this area is giving them more sources to support their life.
عاد انا هسه من اشتغلت من خلال الشرايك صار عندي مصرف عيش عائلتي وغيره، غير هذا الشغل بعد ما عندي. ماكو اي مكان، ذاك مكاننا مرتاحين فيه كنا، بس هذا المكان هسه على مود قرب شوي للولايه والمدارس والمستشفيات.
قبل كانت الواسطه مقطوعه والماي كان تعبان ابن ادم، تعبان بهذا الشيء. هسه ابن ادم ارتاح من فضل الله، ارتاح بهذا الوقت.
Lukoil are building a brand new road leading to the village, allowing the farmers easy access to markets, schools and hospitals.
Можно сказать, первоначально, когда мы сюда подъехали, местные жители нас приняли очень, скажем так, после нескольких часов работы люди оказались здесь очень добродушны, приглашают и в жилище, и попить чаю. Конечно, не до чая.
All the pipework at the central processing facility required for first oil is now complete. Piping supervisor Gary Smith is here to carry out one final inspection.
We're looking for any faults or anything that's not as per design or specification.
Yeah, the support is showing in the drawing, but this casting is balanced.
Yeah. Put that down as a B8.
Faults are marked down as either A or B, depending on their severity.
If you have welded points that are not done, then obviously that will become an A item, which means that this is on hold until such time as that A item has been actually done.
Fortunately, all the faults Gary has discovered are B classifications. These can be rectified after the testing.
The painting might not be up to standard. The support might need to perhaps have grouting or perhaps have the plinth finished off or something like that. But it's basically something that doesn't, that's not part of the integrity of the pipework.
This is very good news. The CPF is finally ready for pre-commissioning and commissioning, a period of intense testing of every facility on the oil field. Now that the oil ministry has increased security for the oil field, Baker Hughes are back. For the past week, the drillers have been working at full capacity in order to catch up. At Cluster 8, Mahmoud's crew are back on track.
We finished all the wells, which was suspended for more than 2 weeks, successfully without any problems. And we continue on with our normal operation with Baker Hughes from that time up till now without any interruption.
23 oil wells were planned for first oil, but Baker Hughes' absence has had a profound impact. Now, only 18 wells will be ready. No one will know whether 18 wells will be enough to supply the 120,000 barrels a day required for first oil until the oil begins to flow from the clusters to the central processing facility. The drilling of a 1.5-kilometer borehole under the Euphrates River started in April 2013. It should have been completed by June 2013. It's now December, and once again the borehole has collapsed. The drillers suffered from appalling weather, rusty pipes, badly mixed mud, and faulty drilling rigs. In the driller's cabin, Supervisor Patrick Rogan is becoming increasingly frustrated.
There's been a lot of inexperienced guys on here. You try to explain, and you explain, and you explain, but nothing seems to sink in. This stop-start is really affecting the borehole. It's not doing us no favours whatsoever.
He reads the riot act to Techno's chief driller.
If you want to pull that through, you've got to be in that seat 6 o'clock in the morning, and drillers sitting there 6 o'clock at night when that's still hot.
Yes.
No stopping. If they can go from A to B with no stoppages, working 12 hours a day, not stopping for stupid mistakes like running out of diesel and like that, you will have a chance of getting this pipe in.
One way or another, the guys have to get the pipe across the river in the next month if Lukoil are to have any chance of completing first oil by March the 29th. For the past few months, Lukoil's management have been preparing an alternative method of crossing the Euphrates, known as open cut. An Iraqi contractor has already dug a 4-meter deep trench along the riverbed. The open cut should be a simpler and quicker operation than drilling a borehole under the river. This operation might just allow Lukoil to complete the pipeline on schedule. At the central processing facility, the commissioning process is almost complete. Deputy Project Manager Vitaly Dyakov arrives to perform the final checks before the launch of the facility.
New plant, new facilities, all people is a new one, and of course everybody is worried and a little bit nervous, but it is normal process. If people don't worry about that, this could be dangerous.
First, he inspects the oil heaters and water treatment plant. Then, he heads to the CPF's control room, the hub of the site, where all the processes to remove impurities from the oil are monitored.
All is done. It is cause and effect diagram, everything is checked.
Yes.
Train 1 is complete as well, yes?
Yes.
It's from here that the cleansed oil is dispatched from the CPF to the tuber tank farm.
Now we are final test of the whole process without oil. Make sure, could be guarantee that it is during the startup, it's all system, gas detection, fire alarm, emergency shutdown system working properly according to the approved design, and we are getting oil.
The trench has been dug, the pipeline has been successfully welded together, and floats are now being attached along its length. This one section will complete the 103-kilometer export pipeline. The 500-ton pipeline will be lifted by cranes section by section. When it's safely floating in the trench, it will then be pulled across the river. Once in the correct position, the floats will be cut away and the pipeline will sink into the trench. The 9 50-ton cranes arrive that will lift the pipeline into the trench. The guys are worried. The pipeline itself weighs 500 tons, but it'll be filled with another 200 tons of water.
Our concern is the soil itself. It's not that strong. It might not be strong enough. So we are worried now because after all that weight, some collapse might happen.
The cranes are in position, but there's another problem. The company supplying the cranes has failed to provide an expert coordinator.
انتوا شركه كرين لو انتم كرين شركه لازم عندكم سوبرفايزر تعتمد عليه انا مو بكرينات نعم صح
Drilling supervisor Mahmoud Hussein is forced to step in and orchestrate the 9 cranes in maneuvering the 500-ton pipeline into the trench.
يمك الرفع يمك رجليك مضبوطه ارفع ارفع رقم 2
The cranes strain under the enormous weight, and the pipeline is pushing against the riverbank, threatening its stability. The pipeline section hits the edge of the trench, creating huge cracks along the bank. This is incredibly dangerous. If the banks collapse now, the project will be put back by weeks. Workers rush to try to support the legs of the cranes as the rest of the team attempt to lift the pipeline up and away from the riverbank.
If he will lift just like this, it will go. What can I do? The weight is here now. If he will lift it like this, it will go.
Hussein must guide the pipeline into the trench before the banks collapse completely. The first section of the pipeline is safely in the water, but there's yet another problem. The floats have started to come away from the pipeline. If too many detach themselves, the pipeline will sink.
Видите, сейчас вон поотваливались флоутеры. Как их ставить, сейчас я не понимаю.
Hussein and his team rush to secure the floats. As the sun sets on the Euphrates, the team know that tomorrow will be the make or break day for the entire pipeline project.
Progress is not good for today. It's already almost evening here, and we get about 20–25%. It's too slow. This is the huge problem for our progress for all the project. All the oil field is here now.
It's early morning at the riverbank. If Lukoil are to make their March 29th deadline for first oil, this pipeline must cross the river in the next 48 hours. All the floats have now been reattached, and a new monster crane has been brought to the site.
The lifting capability is much better, so hopefully it will take the main load and we will move better.
Only 25% of the pipeline is in the water. The rest of the pipeline now needs to be lifted into the trench over the dangerously destabilized riverbank. With Hussein again coordinating the cranes, the middle sections are successfully lowered into the trench. The cranes move along the riverbank and begin to lift the final section of pipeline. The pipeline starts to slip down the edge of the trench. Hussein manages to navigate the pipeline over the bank and into the trench.
Okay.
We were struggling for 2 days to lay down the pipe in the trench, and you see a lot of safety concern. So thanks God, it's been done properly.
The pipeline is safely in the trench, but it must now be pulled across the 960-meter wide river. A winch is set up on the far bank to pull the pipeline across.
And the string should go into the center line of the trench, exactly at the center line. It's very important to do that today.
The pipeline begins its journey. An hour later, the crossing is complete. Finally, the export pipeline has successfully crossed both the Third River and the Euphrates.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm happy, very happy.
Very good, very good.
The 500-ton pipeline has been pulled across the river. Today, it's being centered exactly above the trench. As soon as the surveyors are happy the pipe is in the right place, the floats are removed. But there's a problem.
See, the pipe is sinking.
The guys need to remove the floats as quickly as possible so that the pipeline doesn't sink with them still attached.
Some of them still connected there and goes down. So it means that you have to dive there and try to cut these belts under the water. And this is absolutely not safe.
Despite their best efforts, a large section of the pipeline sinks into the trench with a number of floats still attached. Now it's a race against time. A diver is deployed to cut away the floats. Not only does he have to contend with the strong current, but these heavy metal floats burst out of the river at high velocity. If one of them hits him, he'll be in grave danger. He manages to cut them all free. The pipeline finally sinks into the trench on the riverbed. After 4 tense days, this section can finally be connected to the rest of the pipeline. This is a fantastic moment for the entire project. The 103-kilometer export pipeline connecting the central processing facility to the tank farm is finally complete. This is a momentous day at Cluster 6. The first 4 wells will be opened. Oil will then flow along the 7-kilometer pipeline into the CPF. This will be the first time oil enters the plant. At the CPF, the area where oil will arrive has been evacuated of all personnel. In the control room, last-minute checks are being made to ensure the safe transit of the oil into the CPF storage tanks. Sergei Nikiforov is personally overseeing the launch.
Samsung team ready.
Yes.
Open well. Yeah?
Yes.
My congratulations. So, let's go.
With all checks complete, the order is given to start up the first well.
Браво-4, приготовиться к запуску 153.
The pressure at which the oil enters the main pipe needs to be carefully regulated by the team in the control room.
Потихоньку, не торопись.
If the pressure is too high, it will rupture the pipework, and highly flammable and toxic oil will flow over the facility. This would be disastrous.
Все, больше ничего не трогайте.
With 2 wells now open, the team at the CPF anxiously awaits the oil's arrival.
Где-то еще пока, да?
Демаркатор стартов.
Браво-5, подача на манипольде есть? Давай, Серега.
With the oil now flowing towards the CPF, the team race to open the last 2 wells.
Центр. 165-й открыто, все в порядке.
With all 4 wells now open, the oil rushes down the pipe and into the CPF, where it enters the system, and for the first time, the flare is ignited. It's only now that they can be confident of reaching the 120,000 barrels needed for first oil. Finally, oil is flowing around the entire complex.
Today we showed to all world that first production gas Karna 2 process started. I'm proud, and all my staff are proud too.
It's been 8 days since crude oil first arrived at the CPF. Here, the oil is treated, and water, sand, and gas is removed. The oil is then stored in tanks. Now, these tanks are full.
Well, today would be a significant day for our project for the reason that we're reaching the limit of our storage capacity, and we're about to start transferring oil into the export pipeline.
The oil now needs to make its way along the 103-kilometer pipeline to reach the Tuba tank farm. For this first journey, a pipe integrity gauge, known as a PIG, precedes the oil, clearing all debris from the pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
The team at the CPF must ensure that the oil is leaving the facility at the correct pressure to prevent the pipes rupturing.
Check, double check, triple check. Very important moment.
Все, узел учета готов, все задвижки в нужном положении, да?
Все, вот даю команду на прессовку. Сейчас на 5% 22 задвижку открываем. Сейчас опрессовываем линию и сразу вслед за этим уже как бы начинаем запускать уже на экспорт. Экспортный насос работает. Начинает расти. Смотрите внимательно, давление растет, нет? На узле имеет. Артем, у тебя давление на выкиде бустерных насосов какое сейчас? Понял.
With all the checks complete, the oil finally begins its journey towards the Tuba tank farm.
Узел учета, ответьте.
It's a huge moment for the entire team.
Вы сейчас видите улыбку на моем лице радостную, потому что это означает, что те усилия, которые мы прилагали в течение последних 4 лет, они реализовались. И мы начали добывать нефть на проекте «Западный Курна-2». Первое, конечно, я испытываю радость, огромную радость от того, что наши усилия увенчались успехом. Но в то же время я чувствую немного грусть, потому что это как ребенок, который вырос и выходит в большую жизнь.
Andrei Kozayev has arrived to celebrate this momentous achievement in true oilman style.
Вау! Ну ладно, Сереж, я тебя, ты меня. Лучший запах. Ладно, а ты-то что? Для меня это было радостное событие. Это первую нефть Курны, которую я увидел в промышленной эксплуатации. Ты видишь первую нефть, ты счастлив и делишься этой радостью с друзьями, с теми, кто делал эту работу. Я всех поздравляю.
It's first oil. Against all odds, Lukoil have done it. A report by oil field specialists IPA rates this achievement in the top 10% of engineering projects in the world. A mere 18 months ago, in September 2013, construction began of the central processing facility with the insertion of 13,000 piles into the empty ground. Since then, 48 pipe racks have been built, 420 kilometers of pipe inserted, and 600,000 meters of cable installed to allow the CPF to process 120,000 barrels of oil a day. In the same time, 46 wells have been drilled, a water treatment facility constructed, a power plant has been built, and a 103-kilometer pipeline consisting of 9,000 wells crossing 2 major waterways has been laid, connecting the CPF to the tank farm. Today, VIPs from Russia and Iraq are coming to West Kurna 2 to celebrate reaching first oil. At 11:30 precisely, the helicopters delivering the VIPs set down in the middle of the CPF. The Minister of Oil is taken to the control room at the heart of the central processing facility.
التحكم بالبئر من غرفة السيطرة شوك سايز كذا
Совершенно верно. Включая добычу, подготовку нефти и подготовку воды, работает 49 специалистов. На данный момент работает 14 иракцев. Продолжаем обучать вторую группу специалистов иракских в нашем учебном центре Эдга. И мы планируем увеличить количество именно иракских специалистов, не привлекая уже будущих. Спасибо.
Dr. Sharistani, Iraq's Deputy Prime Minister, leads the delegation of VIPs. The celebrations can begin.
Превосходительство, уважаемые господа, сегодня у нас действительно торжественный день. Это действительно исторический момент для экономики Ирака, для Ирака-российских отношений и, конечно, для нашей компании. Я не прощаюсь, я еще раз говорю, что мы продолжим с вами совместную работу. Спасибо.
قلت لقد شكك الكثيرون وراهن آخرون بأن العراق سوف لا يستطيع أن ينهض هذه النهضة العملاقة التي نشهدها، ولكنكم أيها العراقيون فعلتم ذلك، وبمساعدة أصدقائكم من الشركات التي أتت كي تعمل لبناء بلدكم. أبارك هذه الجهود. أشكركم مرة أخرى والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Vagit Alekperov believes the realization of his dream will bring about a better future for every Iraqi.
Мы видели, как развиваются эти институты политической власти. Последние выборы, которые прошли в апреле, показали, что они прошли честно, открыто. Мы надеемся, что и наш вклад дает возможность стабилизировать социальную обстановку в Ираке, дать возможность людям заглянуть в будущее более радужно, чем они, и в будущем жить более лучше, чем они сегодня живут. Эти колоссальные средства, которые будут поступать в бюджет Ирака, они дадут возможность решать абсолютно все социальные вопросы, что приведет к стабильности политической и, соответственно, к росту социального благополучия людей, живущих в Ираке.
The 25-year dream of Lukoil's president, Vagit Alekperov, has finally become a reality. Oil is flowing at West Kurna 2.
1-0